Hello everyone, and welcome to my updated Chaos Inspiration Chrono Rotation video. This is my first of 3 videos, being Chaos Chrono, Illusions Chrono, and Solo Chrono for 5-man content like Fractals. The other videos will be in the description below. In the most recent October 2nd balance patch, there have been a few major changes with Chronomancer. In the Inspiration trait line, we no longer have the traded Signet of Inspiration which granted boons while summoning a Phantasm. However, we have been compensated by gaining Blurred Inscriptions, which grants distortion on Signet activation and also improves the activation effect of all Signets. Signet of Inspiration now applies to 10 targets, meaning that you can put boons from yourself to everyone in the raid squad. 2 Chronos running Signet of Inspiration and the new Blurred Inscriptions trait can upkeep 100% uptime on 11 boons now, rather than the original 10. Chronomancers can now run Mimic rather than Well of Recall to make Signet of Inspiration even more powerful. The Mimic rotation is fairly simple and easy to pick up. We'll get onto that now. We begin the rotation in our offensive weapon set. In this case I'm using Sword. We can precast boons before the encounter by using our Shatters. We use Phantasmal Swordsman followed by Illusionary Leap. We weapon swap, use Tides of Time into Continuum Split followed by Signet of Inspiration, Well of Action and Mimic. We then leave Continuum Split, use Signet of Inspiration again followed by Tides of Time. When our weapon swap it is around 2 seconds cooldown, we use Well of Action followed by Mimic. We weapon swap, use Signet of Inspiration, and then Signet of Inspiration a second time thanks to Mimic. We can cast our heal skill to summon a lesser Chaos Storm, granting additional boons. We now have some downtime between now and the next Well of Action. When Well of Action comes off of cooldown, we want to use it immediately and then wait until its final pulse. When its final pulse is about to trigger, we weapon swap and then use Tides of Time. Signet of Inspiration comes off of cooldown and we use it immediately. When our weapon swap comes back off of cooldown, we want to swap back to our offensive weapon as soon as possible. We can use our heal skill again here to summon another lesser Chaos Storm. Once again, when our weapon swap it is around 2 seconds cooldown, we use Well of Action again, and then weapon swap into Tides of Time. We wait now until Signet of Inspiration comes off of cooldown, and then we use it immediately. Just like before, we swap back to our offensive weapon as soon as possible. We can use this downtime now to gain 3 clones to continue the rotation. If you do not have 3 clones at this time, you can continue the rotation from the very beginning. With 3 clones, we summon Well of Action into Continuum Split, followed by Mimic, Weapon Swap, Signet of Inspiration, Tides of Time, and then another Signet of Inspiration. We'll leave Continuum Split, and then use Tides of Time. We now continue the rotation as normal. Well of Action at 2 seconds cooldown of weapon swap, followed by Mimic. We weapon swap, use Signet of Inspiration, and then Signet of Inspiration a second time. We can then use our heal skill for a lesser Chaos Storm. We can use our Shatters off cooldown while waiting for skills to recharge. Well of Action comes off of cooldown. We cast it immediately, and then wait for the final pulse. We weapon swap just before the final pulse, use Tides of Time, and then wait for Signet of Inspiration to come off of cooldown, and then use it immediately. Once again, just like before, we weapon swap immediately back to our offensive weapon set. We can use our heal skill once again to summon another lesser Chaos Storm. and then that is the basis of the whole rotation. That is it for the Chaos Chrono rotation update. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll try to get back to everyone. Make sure to subscribe for future rotation updates and check out the other updated rotations in the description below.